Hello, and welcome to my channel.
The snowflakes fell gently from the sky, blanketing the quiet streets of London in a pristine white. James Anderson sat by the window of his cozy house, sipping a warm cup of tea as he observed the winter wonderland outside. His house, nestled in a quiet neighborhood, was adorned with twinkling lights and festive decorations. The air was filled with the scent of pine and cinnamon, creating an atmosphere of warmth and comfort. James was a man who found solace in the winter season. He loved the way the world transformed into a magical place, where everything seemed to slow down and take on a serene beauty. As an introverted soul, he found joy in observing rather than participating. He was content to watch the world go by from the comfort of his own home, finding inspiration in the simple moments of everyday life. From his window, James could see children building snowmen and families strolling hand in hand through the snow-covered streets. He admired the way the soft glow of the streetlights illuminated the falling snow, creating a scene straight out of a storybook. It was during these moments that James felt most alive, as if he were part of something greater than himself. As he sat by the window, watching the snowflakes dance in the moonlight, James couldn't help but feel a sense of longing deep within him. He craved connection, both with the world around him and with his own creativity. He yearned for something to awaken his spirit and breathe life into his words. Despite his love for the winter season, James often found himself yearning for inspiration. He had a passion for writing, but lately, his creative well had run dry. He longed for that spark, that moment of inspiration that would ignite his imagination and bring his words to life. As he sat by the window, sipping his tea, James reflected on his journey as a writer. He had always been drawn to the power of words, the way they could transport readers to different worlds and evoke deep emotions. But lately, his words had felt empty and uninspired. He knew he needed to find a way to reignite his creativity, to find that spark that had once burned so brightly within him. He yearned for a connection, something or someone to inspire him and breathe life into his words. Please support my channel by liking and subscribing. One crisp winter morning, James made a decision. He would venture out into the world and explore London during the winter holidays. He wanted to immerse himself in the joy and wonder of the season, hoping that it would ignite the spark he so desperately sought. Stepping outside, James was greeted by a bustling city adorned with twinkling lights and festive decorations. Christmas markets lined the streets, filled with the sounds of laughter and the aroma of freshly baked goods. The air was alive with excitement and anticipation, as people hurried from one shop to another, searching for the perfect gifts for their loved ones. As James walked through the crowded streets, he couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and wonder. The sights and sounds of the city were overwhelming, but in the best possible way. He marveled at the intricate decorations and the joyous atmosphere that seemed to permeate every corner of London. As James wandered through the Christmas market, his eyes were drawn to a small stall selling steaming cups of hot chocolate. The woman behind the counter had a warm smile and kind eyes that immediately caught his attention. Her name was Emma, and she radiated a genuine love for the winter season. Engaging in conversation, James discovered that Emma had always been enchanted by the magic of winter. She shared stories of her childhood spent building snow forts and ice skating on frozen ponds. Her passion for the season was infectious, and James found himself captivated by her enthusiasm. "I've always loved winter," Emma said with a twinkle in her eye. "There's something so magical about the snow and the way it transforms the world into a wonderland. It's a time of joy and togetherness, a time to celebrate and appreciate the beauty of life." James nodded, his own love for winter resonating with Emma's words. "I couldn't agree more," he replied. "There's a certain serenity that comes with the season, a stillness that allows us to truly appreciate the world around us." Emma smiled, her eyes lighting up. "Would you like to join me for a cup of hot chocolate?" she asked, gesturing towards the stall. "It's my treat." James hesitated for a moment, his introverted nature causing him to question whether he should accept. But something in Emma's warm smile and genuine enthusiasm made him throw caution to the wind. "I would love to," he said, returning her smile. A few days later, James found himself wandering through the city once again, drawn by the enchanting melodies that filled the air. Following the sound, he stumbled upon a street musician named Oliver, playing festive tunes on his guitar. Oliver's music was like a balm for James' soul. It spoke to him in ways that words could not, evoking emotions he had long forgotten. Intrigued by the musician's passion, James struck up a conversation with Oliver, learning that he aspired to share joy through his music. "I've always believed that music has the power to bring people together," Oliver shared, his fingers strumming the strings of his guitar. "It's a universal language that transcends barriers and touches the depths of our souls. I want to create music that brings joy and inspiration to others, just as it has done for me." James nodded, his heart swelling with admiration for Oliver's talent and dedication. "Music has a way of evoking emotions and connecting us to something greater than ourselves," he said. "It's a gift that you have, and I have no doubt that you will touch many lives with your music." Oliver smiled, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. "Thank you," he said. "That means a lot to me." As James continued his exploration of London, he found himself seeking solace in a cozy cafe one afternoon. Lost in thought, he noticed a woman sitting at a nearby table, engrossed in her own world. Her name was Sarah, and she was a writer like James. Intrigued by her presence, James struck up a conversation with Sarah, sharing their love for the written word. As they spoke, James discovered that Sarah was struggling with writer's block, unable to find the inspiration she so desperately sought. "I've been staring at a blank page for weeks," Sarah confessed, her voice tinged with frustration. The words just won't come to me. I feel like I've lost my voice, my ability to tell stories." James nodded sympathetically, understanding all too well the frustration of writer's block. "I've been there," he admitted. "But sometimes, all it takes is a change of scenery or a new perspective to reignite that creative spark." Sarah sighed, her gaze fixed on her untouched cup of tea. "I've tried everything," she said, "but nothing seems to work." A spark of inspiration ignited within James as an idea formed in his mind. "What if we collaborated on a writing project?" he suggested. "We could create a winter-themed story together, drawing inspiration from the beauty of the season. Sometimes, two minds are better than one when it comes to finding inspiration." Sarah looked up, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. "That sounds intriguing," she said. "I've never collaborated with another writer before, but perhaps it's just what I need to break through this creative block." The day of the ice skating adventure arrived, and James found himself standing outside the rink, nervously adjusting his scarf. Emma appeared, her eyes sparkling with excitement, and James couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. As they laced up their skates and stepped onto the glistening ice, laughter filled the air. They held hands for support, gliding across the rink with wobbly grace. With each turn and twirl, James felt a newfound sense of freedom and joy. Emma's infectious laughter and warm presence made him forget about his worries and insecurities. "You're doing great," Emma exclaimed, her smile lighting up her face. "Just relax and let the rhythm of the ice carry you." James laughed, feeling a sense of liberation as he allowed himself to let go and simply enjoy the moment. The crisp winter air brushed against his cheeks as he twirled with Emma, the sound of their laughter blending with the soft music playing in the background. As they skated hand in hand, James couldn't help but feel a connection forming between them. It was as if they were dancing to a silent melody, their movements synchronized and effortless. In that moment, James realized that sometimes it took stepping out of his comfort zone to find true joy and connection. The night of Oliver's concert arrived, and James found himself in a dimly lit cafe, surrounded by a crowd eager to experience his music. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation, and James could feel the energy in the air. Oliver took the stage, his guitar in hand, and began to play. The room fell silent as his fingers danced across the strings, filling the space with melodies that touched the depths of the soul. James closed his eyes, allowing the music to wash over him, transporting him to a world where anything was possible. The crowd erupted into applause as Oliver finished his set, the room filled with a sense of awe and appreciation. James opened his eyes, a smile tugging at the corners of his lips. He approached Oliver, his heart full of gratitude. "Your music, it's truly magical," James said, his voice filled with sincerity. "You have a gift, Oliver, and I'm grateful to have experienced it." Oliver smiled, his eyes shining with a mixture of humility and joy. "Thank you," he replied. "It means the world to me to know that my music has touched someone's heart." They spoke about the power of music and its ability to evoke emotions and inspire change. Their conversation flowed effortlessly, as if they had known each other for a lifetime. James couldn't help but feel a sense of kinship with Oliver, as if they were kindred spirits connected by their shared love for creativity and expression. James and Sarah began their collaborative writing project, meeting at cafes and parks, their minds intertwining as they brainstormed ideas and shared their thoughts. Their creative energy was palpable, fueling their passion for storytelling. As they delved deeper into their project, James discovered a newfound admiration for Sarah's talent. Her words flowed effortlessly from her pen, painting vivid pictures and evoking emotions he had never experienced before. Together, they created a world where winter came alive on the pages of their notebooks. They spent hours discussing characters and plot lines, weaving together their individual writing styles to create a cohesive and captivating story. James found himself inspired by Sarah's unique perspective, her ability to see beauty in the smallest of details. "Your words have a way of painting pictures in my mind," James confessed one day as they sat in a park, their notebooks open before them. "I've always admired your ability to evoke emotions and create such vivid imagery." Sarah blushed, a smile playing on her lips. "And you have a way with words that brings depth and complexity to our story," she replied. "It's been an incredible journey collaborating with you, James. I feel like we've created something truly special." James fully embraced the holiday spirit, attending festive events and gatherings with Emma, Oliver, and Sarah. They visited Christmas markets, ice skated under the twinkling lights, and shared laughter and stories around crackling fires. With each passing day, James felt his connection with these newfound friends grow stronger. They had become a source of inspiration and joy in his life, reminding him of the beauty that existed beyond the confines of his cozy house. As they walked through the Christmas markets, James marveled at the vibrant colors and the joyous atmosphere. The air was filled with the scent of roasted chestnuts and mulled wine, and the sound of laughter and music filled his ears. He watched as Emma's eyes sparkled with excitement as she sampled different treats and shared stories of her childhood traditions. He listened intently as Oliver played his guitar, his music weaving through the crowd and filling their hearts with joy. And he found solace in Sarah's presence, her quiet confidence and thoughtful observations grounding him in the present moment. As the winter season drew to a close, James found himself back in the comfort of his cozy house, gazing out at the falling snow. He reflected on the adventures he had embarked upon, the friendships he had formed, and the inspiration that had flooded his life. A sense of contentment washed over him as he realized that he had found what he had been searching for all along. It wasn't just about the spark of inspiration or the joy of the season, it was about the connections he had made and the shared experiences that had enriched his life. He thought about Emma, Oliver, and Sarah, and how they had brought light and warmth into his life. They had reminded him of the power of human connection and the beauty that could be found in simple moments of togetherness. As he sat by the window, watching the snowflakes dance in the moonlight, James couldn't help but feel a sense of hope and anticipation. The winter season had brought him magic and inspiration, but he knew that there were still countless adventures waiting to unfold. He embraced the beauty of solitude and the meaningful connections he had formed, knowing that they would continue to fuel his creativity and bring him joy. With a heart full of gratitude and a mind brimming with ideas, James eagerly awaited the next chapter of his life, ready to embrace whatever magic the future held.